The darkness of deep space surrounded the massive human vessel as it drifted silently through the void. The Leviathan was enormous, over 5 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide at its widest point. Its outer hull was dark gray, scarred from centuries of micrometeor impacts and cosmic radiation. Unlike the sleek, artistic ships that populated the galaxy, the Leviathan was blocky and functional, built for survival rather than beauty. Inside the command center, emergency lights suddenly flashed red. The ship's central AI system, dormant for decades, began its awakening sequence. Alert: unknown vessels detected. Initiating emergency revival protocol. In the captain's cryopod, Jinha's vital signs began to spike as the revival drugs entered his system. His eyes snapped open and he gasped as awareness returned. The cryopod lid slid open with a soft hiss, releasing a cloud of cold vapor. Status. Report, Jinha croaked, his voice rough from disuse. The AI's calm voice responded immediately. Captain Jinha, you have been in cryosleep for 87 years, 4 months, and 16 days. I have detected 27 unknown vessels approaching our position. Their design does not match any human records. Jinha sat up slowly, his muscles protesting after decades of inactivity. At 42, he had been one of the youngest colony ship captains when the Leviathan launched. Now, biologically still the same age but chronologically much older, he faced humanity's first confirmed alien contact. Revive the command crew, Jinha ordered, reaching for the hydration pack beside his pod. Priority. Sequence. First officer, communications, engineering, security. Initiating revival sequence, the AI confirmed. Jinha forced his legs to support his weight as he stood. The artificial gravity felt strange after so long in suspended animation. He made his way to the command center view screen, which showed the approaching vessels. They were unlike anything humans had designed, organic-looking. Ships with flowing lines and pulsing lights that moved in perfect formation. The largest was barely a quarter the size of the Leviathan, but they all moved with a precision that suggested advanced technology. How long until they reach us? Jinha asked. At current speed, 47 minutes, the AI replied. Jinha nodded. Begin. Powering up essential systems only, no weapons. I want to appear non-threatening. By the time First Officer Park stumbled into the command center, Jinha had changed into his uniform and was reviewing the ship's status reports. Captain, Park said, his eyes wide as he looked at the view screen. Are those? Yes, Jinha. Confirmed, aliens, the real thing. Over the next 30 minutes, the rest of the command crew arrived. Chief Engineer Harin immediately began working to bring more systems online, while Communications Officer Yoon tried to detect any signals from the approaching fleet. Captain, Yoon called out suddenly. They're broadcasting something. It's not in any human language, but it's definitely a communication attempt. Put it through, Jinha ordered. The speakers crackled with strange sounds, clicks, whistles, and tones that no human throat could produce. The AI worked to analyze the patterns, searching for any mathematical structure that might help with translation. They're surrounding us, reported Security Chief Kwan as he studied the tactical display. Standard containment formation. I don't like this, Captain. Jinha watched as the alien vessels took positions around the Leviathan, keeping a respectful distance but clearly positioning themselves to prevent escape. They're scared, Jinha realized aloud. Look at their positioning. They're treating us like we're dangerous. We are dangerous, Kwan pointed out. The Leviathan is the largest ship humanity ever built. A colony ship? Jinha reminded him. Not a warship. They don't know that, Harin said, looking up from her engineering console. From the outside, our fusion engines could look like weapons, and our resource processing facilities might resemble military installations. The AI interrupted. I have established a basic translation matrix based on mathematical principles in their broadcast. Effectiveness estimated at 40%. Good enough, Jinha decided. Open a channel. When Yoon nodded that the channel was open, Jinha spoke clearly. This is Captain Jinha of the Earth vessel Leviathan. We come in peace and seek friendly contact. There was a long pause before a response came through, the alien words translated roughly by the AI. Unknown vessel. You have entered galactic concordat space. Your ship size exceeds all known military limitations. Identify purpose immediately. Jinha exchanged glances with his officers before responding. Our vessel is a colony ship carrying 50,000 humans in cryosleep. We are refugees seeking a new home after the environmental collapse of our planet. We have no hostile intentions. Another pause, longer this time. When the response came, the AI's translation revealed clear disbelief. Plane not credible. No civilian vessel requires such mass. No refugee ship carries such power signatures. Prepare for boarding and inspection. Resistance will be met with force. Quan immediately moved to Jinha's side. Captain, we can't let them board. We have 50,000 sleeping civilians. If they're hostile, and if we refuse, they might open fire, Jinha countered. We don't know their capabilities. Harun looked up from her console, her face pale. Captain, I'm detecting energy buildups in several of the alien vessels. I think they're charging weapons. Jinha made his decision. Yoon, keep broadcasting our peaceful intentions. Harun, bring our shields online defensive measures only. Quan, I want security teams at all potential boarding points, but no lethal weapons. First contact will not begin with human aggression. As the crew rushed to comply, Jinha stared at the alien ships surrounding his vessel. The Leviathan carried what remained of humanity, the last best hope for a species that had nearly destroyed itself. He would not risk those lives with hasty action. They're launching smaller vessels, Quan reported, likely boarding craft. Jinha nodded grimly. Let them come, but prepare our people. First contact protocols are in effect. We show them who we really are. As the alien boarding craft approached, Jinha felt the weight of history on his shoulders. Humanity's first meeting with alien life would define their species in the eyes of the galaxy. The Leviathan built as an ark to save. Humanity was now seen as a monster ship, a floating terror that frightened even a galactic civilization. Captain, the AI interrupted his thoughts. I've improved the translation matrix. Their latest communication refers to us as the monster ship and the terror vessel. Jinha's expression hardened. Then let's show them that this monster comes. In peace unless they force our hand. As the first alien boarding craft attached to the Leviathan's hull, humanity's place in the galaxy hung in the balance. The next few hours would determine whether they would be welcomed as friends or feared as monsters. Chief Engineer Harun moved quickly through the massive engine section of the Leviathan, her footsteps echoing on the metal walkways. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she worked to bring the ship's long-dormant systems back online. After 87 years in standby mode, many systems were slow to respond. Reactor 3 is still not responding, she said into her communicator. I need more time. We don't have time, Captain Jinha's voice replied. The alien boarding parties have breached airlocks on levels 12, 27, and 41. I need shields and internal security doors operational now. Harun wiped her brow and continued working. The Leviathan's fusion engines were designed to power a self-contained world, not for combat. But the aliens didn't seem to understand that. Through the small viewport near her workstation, she could see the Concordat fleet maintaining their threatening formation around the Leviathan. Why are they so afraid of us? She wondered aloud. Her assistant, a young engineer named Min, looked up from his console. Maybe because our ship is bigger than anything they've ever seen? The captain said their largest vessel is only a quarter our size. Harun nodded. To them, we must look like a weapon. A monster ship? Her console suddenly lit up with warning signals. Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures on the outer hull. They've attached something to us. In the command center, Jinha received Harun's report with growing concern. Security Chief Quan was already organizing defense teams to intercept the boarding parties. What kind of devices? Jinha asked. Unknown, Harun replied. But they're generating energy patterns consistent with explosive technology. I think they're demolition devices. Jinha's face hardened. They're planning to cripple us. He turned. To Communications Officer Yoon. Any progress with direct communication? Yoon shook his head. The translation matrix is improving, but there's still significant misunderstanding. They keep referring to our weapon systems and military capacity. They don't believe we're a colony ship. Show them, Jinha decided. Quan, I want you to escort one of their boarding parties to Habitation Section 1. Let them see the cryopods. Let them see who we really are, Quan frowned. Captain, that puts our civilians at risk. We're all at risk if they decide to detonate those devices, Jinha countered. We need to convince them we're not a threat before they take action. Quan nodded reluctantly and left to intercept the nearest boarding party. Meanwhile, in Airlock 27, a tense standoff was already underway. 10 human security officers faced 15 alien boarders. The aliens were humanoid, but clearly not human. Their skin had a bluish tint, and they had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. They carried weapons that hummed with strange energy. Security. Officer Rex stood at the front of the human line, his hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. We mean no harm, he said slowly, hoping the aliens' translation devices would understand. We are refugees, survivors. The alien leader stepped forward, weapon raised. Its 4 eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern as it spoke. The translation came through Rex's earpiece with mechanical precision. Your vessel exceeds all known civilian parameters. Explain these power readings. Explain these structural elements. Before Rex could answer, Quan arrived. I'll handle this, he told Rex. Then, addressing the alien leader, I am Security Chief Quan. By order of Captain Jinha, I invite you to inspect our cryosleep chambers. See for yourself who we carry? The alien leader hesitated, then nodded. 4 of the aliens followed Quan, while the rest remained at the airlock. As they walked through the Leviathan's corridors, the aliens' 4 eyes darted everywhere, taking in the ship's design. Quan led them to a massive door labeled Habitation. Section 1 inch in multiple Earth languages. This is one of our 10 habitation zones, Quan explained as the door slid open. Each contains 5,000 cryopods. The room beyond was enormous, a vast chamber filled with rows upon rows of cryopods, each containing a sleeping human. The soft blue light of the stasis fields gave the room an ethereal quality. Medical monitoring systems beeped quietly, tracking the vital signs of the sleepers. The aliens stopped, their weapons lowering slightly as they took in the sight. Their leader stepped forward, examining the nearest pod. Inside was a young woman, her face peaceful in cryosleep. These are aliens? The alien asked, its translation device struggling with the concept. Yes, Quan confirmed. Farmers, teachers, doctors, engineers, people who will build a new home, the last survivors of Earth. The alien leader turned all 4 eyes to Quan. Why such a large vessel for transport only? Because we're not just transporting them, Quan explained. We're keeping them alive for centuries of travel. The Leviathan isn't just a ship, it's an ecosystem. Before the alien could respond, Haran's urgent voice came through Quan's communicator. Chief Quan, the devices on our hull have been activated. They're counting down. Quan's expression darkened as he addressed the alien leader. Your people have placed demolition devices on our hull? They've been activated. If they detonate, thousands of these sleepers will die. The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. It spoke into its own communication device in its native language, too fast for the translation system to keep up. In the command center, Jinha received the news with cold fury. Yoon, open a channel to their fleet commander, now. When the connection was established, Jinha spoke with controlled anger. This is Captain Jinha. You have placed explosive devices on a civilian vessel carrying 50,000 refugees. Deactivate them immediately, or you will be responsible for mass murder. The alien commander's response was dismissive. Your deception is not convincing. No civilian vessel requires such defensive capabilities. The devices will disable your weapon systems only. We have no weapon systems. Jinha shouted. Those defensive capabilities are life support for 50,000 people. Haran's voice cut in urgently. Captain, I've analyzed the placement of the devices. They're positioned over critical power junctions. If they detonate, we'll lose life support in at least 3 habitation sections. Jinha's mind raced. He had less than 5 minutes to convince the aliens they were making a terrible mistake. He turned to First Officer Park. Activate the internal viewing system. Broadcast images from all habitation sections to the alien fleet. Park worked quickly, and soon the Leviathan was transmitting live images of its sleeping passengers to every alien vessel. Look at what you're about to destroy, Jinha said, his voice now calm but intense. Not weapons, not soldiers. Families, children, the last survivors of a dying world. In Habitation Section 1, the alien leader watched as its own communication device showed the same images being broadcast to the fleet. Its 4 eyes widened as the camera panned across thousands of sleeping humans. Stop the countdown, it said suddenly into its device. These are not warriors, these are ... refugees. On the Leviathan's hull, the demolition devices continued their countdown. 3 minutes remained. Harin worked frantically at her console. I might be able to disrupt the detonation signal, but I need access to the outer hull. Jinha made his decision. Do it, take whatever risk you need to. As Harin raced toward the nearest airlock, the fate of humanity's last great vessel and all those who slept within it hung in the balance. The misunderstanding that had labeled them monsters might now lead to their destruction. Harin's heart pounded as she sealed her spacesuit. The airlock countdown showed just 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining before the alien demolition devices would detonate. I'm going even now, she reported through her helmet communicator. The closest device is 12 meters to the right of airlock 18. Be careful, Jinha's voice replied. We're still trying to convince their commander to abort the countdown. Harin took a deep breath as the airlock cycled. When the outer door opened, she pushed herself into the void, the safety tether trailing behind her. The vastness of space surrounded her, punctuated by the alien ships that still held position around the Leviathan. Using her suit's thrusters, she moved quickly along the hull until she reached the first demolition device. It was a small, disc-shaped object that pulsed with blue light. A digital display counted down, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. I've reached the first device, she reported. It's unlike any technology I've seen before. I'm going to try to disrupt its signal receiver. She pulled a multi-tool from her belt and carefully opened the device's outer casing. Inside was a complex arrangement of crystals and circuitry that glowed with internal light. Meanwhile, in Habitation Section 1, Security, Chief Quan watched as the alien leader continued to examine the cryopods. The other aliens had spread throughout the vast chamber, their weapons now lowered as they moved between the rows of sleeping humans. These people, the alien leader said, its 4 eyes blinking in a pattern Quan was beginning to recognize as indicating confusion. They fled your world? Yes, Quan confirmed. Earth was dying. Centuries of environmental damage had made it uninhabitable. The Leviathan is one of 3 ships we built to carry our survivors to a new home. The alien's translation device struggled with some concepts, but the message was clear enough. Your entire species ... in 3 ships? What remains of it? Quan said grimly. Less than 200,000 humans survived to leave. Earth, the Leviathan carries a quarter of our remaining population. The alien leader's 4 eyes widened. And we nearly... It didn't finish the sentence, instead activating its communication device. Again, and speaking rapidly in its native language, on the hull, Harin worked frantically. She had bypassed the device's outer security measures and was now attempting to disconnect its detonator. Sweat beaded inside her helmet despite the cooling system. 1 minute, 30 seconds, she reported. I think I can disable this one, but there are 11 more devices. I won't reach them all in time. In the command center, Jinha faced the alien commander on the view screen. The translation was improving, but communication remained difficult. Your people have seen our cryopods, Jinha insisted. They've seen our civilians. Stop the countdown. The alien commander's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Conflicting reports. Some say civilians. Others maintain weapon systems disguised. We don't have time for debate. Jinha shouted, "In less than 90 seconds, thousands will die." Suddenly, a new voice joined the communication. It was the alien boarding party leader from Habitation Section 1. "Commander, I have verified. These are refugees. The sleeping ones are not soldiers. They are families, children, elders." The commander hesitated, its four eyes blinking in different patterns as it received conflicting advice from others off-screen, outside. Harin successfully disabled the first device. "One down," she reported, moving to the next. She pushed off from the hull, using her thrusters to move toward the second device. The countdown showed just 1 minute remaining. "Not enough time," she muttered to herself. Inside the ship, the situation suddenly changed. The alien leader in Habitation Section 1 made a decision. It approached a control panel on the wall and placed its communication device against it. "This will transmit directly to all devices," it explained to Quan. "I will order deactivation," Quan nodded urgently. "Do it!" The alien spoke a series of commands into its device. On the hull, the demolition device's countdown froze at 42 seconds. "They've stopped counting down," Harin reported with relief. "But they're still active." The alien leader turned to Quan. "The devices are in safety mode only. Our commander must give final deactivation order." In the command center, Jinha saw the alien commander finally make its decision. "Deactivate all devices," it ordered. "Cease boarding operations. Withdraw to standard observation distance." The tension on the bridge eased slightly, but Jinha remained alert. "Thank you," he said to the commander. "Now perhaps we can begin." "Proper communication?" The commander's four eyes fixed on Jinha. "Your vessel, not what we assumed, requires ... explanation." "I'm happy to provide one," Jinha replied. "But first, I need to check on my people." As the alien boarding parties began to withdraw, Harin returned to the airlock. The demolition devices had gone dark, their threat neutralized. But the damage from the devices that had partially detonated before the countdown stopped was significant. "Captain," she reported as she removed her helmet, "we have hull breaches in sections 22 and 37. Emergency containment is holding. But we've lost power to parts of Habitation Section 4. Casualties?" Jinha asked, dreading the answer. "None yet," Harin replied. "But we need to restore power to those cryopods within 12 hours, or we'll lose those people." Jinha nodded grimly. "Make it your priority." As the emergency response teams worked to repair the damage, something unexpected happened. The Leviathan's automated systems, designed to maintain the ship's internal ecosystem, began to respond to the crisis. Throughout the massive vessel, dormant systems activated. In Habitation Section 4, where power had been lost, backup systems engaged. The massive forest dome at the center of the ship, designed to produce oxygen and filter the ship's atmosphere, began to increase its output. Water circulation systems diverted resources to the damaged areas. The alien boarding parties, not yet fully withdrawn, watched in amazement as the ship seemed to heal itself. In one corridor, a group of aliens stood transfixed as a wall panel opened and mechanical tendrils emerged, sealing a damaged power conduit. "The ship," one alien said to another, "it lives." In the command center, Jinha received reports of the Leviathan's automated responses with relief. The ship was doing what it was designed to do: protect its precious human cargo. The alien commander, still on the view screen, watched these developments with all four eyes wide open. "Your vessel ... it responds like organism, not like machine. The Leviathan was designed to be a self-sustaining ecosystem," Jinha explained. "It adapts to threats, heals damage, maintains balance. It's the only way we could survive a journey of centuries." As the immediate crisis passed, Jinha invited the alien commander to send a diplomatic party not armed boarders to the Leviathan. "Come see what we really are," he offered. "Learn our story." Hours later, in the ship's central garden dome, Jinha walked with the alien commander among trees and plants from Earth. The massive space stretched hundreds of meters overhead, with artificial sunlight streaming down on a landscape that mimicked Earth's lost environments. This is why the Leviathan is so large, Jinha explained. It's not just a ship. It's a piece of our world, preserved as we search for a new home. The commander's 4 eyes took in the forest, the small lake, the carefully balanced ecosystem. We thought, weapon of unprecedented scale. Instead, ark of survival. Jinha nodded. We built the Leviathan not to destroy, but to preserve. Not to conquer, but to survive. As they walked, the true nature of humanity's monster ship was finally revealed, not as the galaxy's floating terror, but as testament to a species that refused to accept extinction. Captain Jinha stood in the Leviathan's main observation deck, watching as the alien ships maintained their new positions. The Concordat fleet had pulled back to a respectful distance, no longer surrounding the human vessel in a threatening formation. It was progress, but Jinha knew the situation remained delicate. "Captain," First Officer Park called from behind him. "Chief Engineer Haren reports that power has been restored to all cryopods in Habitation Section 4. No casualties." Jinha nodded, relief washing over him. "And the hull breaches?" "Temporary seals are holding. Permanent repairs will take at least 3 days." The captain turned as the observation deck doors slid open. The alien commander, who had introduced itself as High Commander Trell of the Galactic Concordat, entered alongside Security Chief Quan. The alien's 4 eyes blinked in what Jinha was beginning to recognize as a gesture of respect. "Captain Jinha," Trell said through its improved translation device, "your engineer's skills are impressive. Few species could repair such damage so quickly." "Necessity has made us resourceful," Ja replied. "When your survival depends on maintaining a closed system, you learn to fix things fast." Trell's upper eyes blinked while its lower eyes remained fixed on Jinha. Gesture the humans had learned indicated serious thought. "We have much to discuss," Trell said. "My initial report to Concordat Central Command has created complications." "What kind of complications?" Jinha asked. Before Trell could answer, the ship's AI interrupted. "Captain, long-range sensors have detected multiple vessels approaching at high speed. They are not Concordat designs." Jinha turned to the display screen as it showed 12 ships moving toward their position. Unlike the elegant, organic lines of the Concordat vessels, these were angular, asymmetrical, and covered with what appeared to be improvised armor plating. Trell's 4 eyes widened, all blinking rapidly. "Pirates, scavengers from the outer systems." "Pirates?" Jinha repeated. "You have pirates in advanced space?" "The Concordat maintains order in the central systems," Trell explained. "But the outer regions are difficult to patrol. Outlaw groups operate there, preying on damaged vessels and isolated outposts." The alien commander activated its communication device. "They must have detected our confrontation and the energy signatures from the demolition devices. They believe. Your ship is crippled." Jinha's expression hardened. "And they've come to pick over the remains." "Yes," Trell confirmed. "Led by Warlord Kraz, one of the most notorious raiders in the sector." Jinha turned to Quan. "Security status?" "Not good," Quan replied grimly. "Our defensive systems were never fully activated after cryosleep. We have basic shields at 40% capacity and minimal point defense. Our security teams are armed only with non-lethal weapons for internal security. And our hull is already compromised." Jinha added, thinking quickly. "How long until they reach us?" "Approximately 2 hours at current speed," the AI reported. Jinha faced Trell directly. "High Commander, it seems we have a common problem. These pirates threaten both our vessels." Trell's 4 eyes blinked in agreement. "Indeed, I will order my fleet to defensive positions." "I propose more than that," Jinha said. "I propose an alliance. Your ships have superior weapons, but our Leviathan has space to shelter your smaller vessels if needed. Together we stand a better chance than separately." Trell considered this for a moment, all 4 eyes blinking in different patterns. "An alliance with humans, unprecedented, but logical under current circumstances." The alien commander extended a 4-fingered hand in what was clearly an attempt at a human gesture. Jinha took it, sealing their unexpected partnership. Over the next hour, the Leviathan became a center of frantic activity. Concordat officers worked alongside human security teams, setting up defensive positions and communication protocols. In the engineering section, Harin collaborated with alien technicians to integrate their shield frequencies. Their technology is different from ours, Harin explained to Jinha during a brief meeting. But the principles are similar enough. We're adapting some of our agricultural processing equipment to strengthen our shields. Agricultural equipment? Trell asked, its four eyes blinking in confusion. Harin nodded. The same energy fields we use to accelerate plant growth can be modified to deflect incoming projectiles. Different application, same basic science. The alien commander's eyes blinked rapidly. Ingenious adaptation. In the security center, Quan worked with Concordat military officers to organize their defense. The main view screen showed the approaching pirate vessels, now just 1 hour away. They're spreading out, a Concordat tactical officer observed. Standard attack formation. They'll try to hit us from multiple angles, Quan studied the display. We need to protect the Leviathan's damaged sections. If they breach those areas, we could lose entire habitation zones. My vessels will form a defensive screen here and here, the Concordat officer indicated. But we cannot cover all approaches. Quan thought for a moment, then pointed to a schematic of the Leviathan. We have maintenance drones designed for external hull repair. With some modifications, they could serve as defensive platforms. The alien officer's four eyes blinked in surprise. Maintenance drones as weapons? Not exactly weapons, Quan clarified. But they have powerful magnetic grapples and cutting tools. If reprogrammed, they could disable smaller attack craft. As the preparations continued, Jinha addressed the entire ship through the internal communication system. Attention all awakened personnel. The Leviathan faces a threat from pirate vessels approaching our position. We have formed an alliance with the Concordat fleet for mutual defense. All non-security personnel should report to inner shelter areas. This is not a drill. Throughout the massive ship, the 200 crew members who had been awakened from cryosleep moved with purpose. Many had never expected to face combat. The Leviathan was supposed to be a vessel of peace, carrying sleeping humans to a new home. Now they prepared to defend not just themselves, but their alien allies as well. In the medical bay, Dr. Rex organized his team for potential casualties. Set up triage in sections 3 and 7, he instructed, and prepare the emergency revival. Protocols for medical specialists still in cryosleep. A young medical technician looked up in surprise. We're waking more people? Only if necessary, Rex replied. But if we face mass casualties, we'll need more hands. As the pirate fleet drew closer, Jinha returned to the command center. The view screen showed the 12 hostile vessels now clearly visible, their hulls scarred and modified with mismatched technology scavenged from different sources. They're hailing us, Communications Officer Yoon reported. Put them through, Jinha ordered. The screen changed to show a being unlike either humans or the Concordat species. This creature had gray, leathery skin and a single large eye in the center of its face. Multiple tentacle-like appendages moved constantly around its head. This is Warlord Kraz, the creature announced, its voice translated by the ship's AI. Your vessel is damaged and in disputed territory. Surrender and prepare to be boarded. Your cargo and technology now belong to me. Jinha stood tall, his face showing no fear. This is Captain Jinha of the Earth vessel Leviathan. We are under the protection of the Galactic Concordat and will not surrender. Leave this area immediately. The pirate warlord's single eye narrowed. The Concordat? Their ships are toys compared to yours, even damaged. Once we take your vessel, we'll be unstoppable. The transmission cut off abruptly. Jinha turned to Trell, who had joined him in the command center. They don't know we're allies, Jinha observed. An advantage, Trell agreed, all four eyes focused on the tactical display. They expect an easy victory against a damaged vessel. They will not be prepared for coordinated resistance. Jinha nodded grimly. Let's use that surprise to our advantage. As the pirate fleet moved into attack position, the Leviathan and its unlikely Concordat allies prepared for battle. The massive human monster ship, built to preserve life, not take it, was about to face its first combat test. The first pirate ships struck like hungry predators, firing bright energy weapons at the Leviathan's already damaged hull. The massive colony ship shuddered under the impact, emergency alarms blaring throughout its corridors. In the command center, Jinha gripped the edge of the tactical display as the deck vibrated beneath his feet. Status report. Shields holding at 32%, First Officer Park reported. They're concentrating fire on our damaged sections. On the view screen, the Concordat vessels moved into defensive positions, their sleek forms darting between the Leviathan and the attacking pirates. Energy beams crisscrossed the void of space as the battle intensified. 3 pirate vessels approaching Habitation Section 4, Quan reported from the security station. They're going for our weakest point. Jinha turned to High Commander Trell. Can your ships intercept? The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly as it communicated with its fleet. 2 of our vessels are moving to engage, but Warlord Kraz's flagship is blocking their path. Haran's voice came through the communication system, urgent and breathless. Captain, I'm detecting unusual power fluctuations throughout the ship. The Leviathan's deep systems are activating on their own. What do you mean, on their own? Jinha demanded. It's like the ship is responding to the attack, Haran explained. Systems that have been dormant since launch are coming online. I'm seeing power signatures I don't recognize from the original blueprints. Jinha exchanged concerned glances with Trell. Is this normal for your vessel? The alien commander asked. No, Jinha admitted. The Leviathan was built during Earth's final days. There were rumors that the design team incorporated experimental systems, but nothing was ever officially documented. A massive impact rocked the ship, throwing several crew members to the floor. The lights flickered, then stabilized. Direct hit on Section 38, Park shouted. Hull breach detected. Seal that section, Jinha ordered. Divert emergency teams. He stopped mid-sentence as the main view screen changed without command. Instead of showing the battle outside, it displayed a schematic of the Leviathan with pulsing red areas indicating damage. Text scrolled across the bottom in an ancient programming language few modern humans could read. Catastrophic damage detected. Initiating Guardian Protocol. What is Guardian Protocol? Trell asked, all 4 eyes fixed on the screen. I don't know, no, Jinha admitted. It's not in any of our operational manuals. Throughout the massive ship, strange transformations began. In the damaged Section 38, mechanical panels that had appeared to be part of the wall structure suddenly shifted and moved. Metal components flowed like liquid, sealing the hull breach from the inside. In the outer hull areas, what had seemed to be structural supports began to change shape. Massive plates shifted position, revealing hidden systems beneath. The agricultural drones that Quan had repurposed for defense suddenly received new programming, their movements becoming more coordinated and aggressive. Captain, Haran's voice was filled with awe. You need to see this. The view screen split to show Haran in the engineering section. Behind her, the massive fusion reactor core was pulsing with energy that flowed not just through the normal power conduits, but through previously unknown channels throughout the ship. The Leviathan is reconfiguring itself, she reported. It's like the ship had defensive systems built in that were kept dormant until needed. Outside, the pirate vessels continued their attack, unaware of the transformation occurring within their target. 3 smaller craft approached the damaged section of the Leviathan, preparing to attach boarding tubes. Without warning, sections of the Leviathan's hull that had appeared smooth and unbroken suddenly opened. Large, cannon-like structures emerged, swiveling to track the approaching pirate ships. Are those ... weapons? Jinha asked in disbelief. Defensive arrays, Haran corrected, studying the data flowing across her console. They appear to be designed to repel boarding attempts, not for offensive strikes. The arrays fired not with destructive energy beams, but with precisely targeted electromagnetic pulses that disabled the pirate vessel's engines. The small ships drifted helplessly, unable to approach or retreat. In the command center, Jinha watched in amazement as more of the Leviathan's hidden systems activated. The ship that had been designed as humanity's Ark was revealing capabilities no one had suspected. The original designers, Jinha realized aloud. They must have known the Leviathan might face threats during its journey. They built in protections, but kept them secret even from the crew. Trell's 4 eyes blinked in a pattern that suggested both awe and concern. Your ship truly is a monster. Not in purpose, but in capability. On the tactical display, the battle was shifting. The pirates, expecting an easy victory against a damaged refugee vessel, now faced a transformed opponent. The Leviathan's newly revealed defensive systems, combined with the Concordat fleet's coordinated attacks, had thrown the raiders into disarray. Warlord Kraz's flagship is moving into firing position, Quan reported. They're charging what appears to be a main weapon. Jinha studied the tactical display. The pirate flagship was massive compared to the other raider vessels, nearly a quarter the size of the Leviathan itself. Its central section glowed with building energy. All power to forward shields, Jinha ordered. Brace for impact. The pirate flagship fired, a blinding beam of energy streaking toward the Leviathan. But before it could hit, something unexpected happened. The Leviathan's hull rippled, and a previously hidden section opened to reveal a large, dish-like structure. As the energy beam approached, the dish activated, creating a swirling vortex that caught the incoming attack and dispersed it harmlessly into space. Energy absorption system, Harin reported, her voice filled with wonder. It's converting the attack energy and feeding it into our power grid. The Leviathan's lights brightened as the absorbed energy flowed through its systems. The ship seemed to pulse with new strength, its defensive arrays becoming more active. In the pirate flagship's command center, Warlord Kraz stared in disbelief at the scene before him. What had appeared to be a damaged, vulnerable prize was transforming into something else entirely, a vessel with defenses beyond anything he had encountered. What is that thing? One of his officers asked, single eye wide with fear. It doesn't matter, Kraz snarled. Prepare boarding parties. We'll take it from the inside. Back on the Leviathan, Jinha faced a critical decision. The ship's transformation continued, more systems activating with each passing minute. Displays showed defensive capabilities that could easily be turned offensive systems that could destroy the pirate vessels rather than simply disabling them. Captain, Quan reported urgently, the pirates are preparing for a mass boarding action. All their remaining vessels are moving into position. Jinha looked at the tactical display, then at Trell. Your people have seen what the Leviathan can do. You know now that we could destroy these attackers? The alien commander's 4 eyes blinked slowly. Yes, your ship is indeed powerful. The question is, what will you do with that power? It was the question that would define humanity in the eyes of the Galactic Concordat. The Leviathan, built to preserve life now, had the capacity to take it on a massive scale. The ship that had been labeled a monster could prove that designation correct with a single command. Jinha took a deep breath. The Leviathan was built to save our species, not to destroy others. We will defend ourselves, but we will not become what they fear us to be. He turned to the tactical station. Target their propulsion and weapon systems only. Disable, don't destroy. As the pirate boarding craft approached, the Leviathan's defensive systems engaged with surgical precision. The monster ship had awakened, but it would be humanity who decided what kind of monster it would be. The battle ended not with destruction, but with surrender. Warlord Kraz's flagship drifted powerless, its engines disabled by the Leviathan's precise defensive strikes. The remaining pirate vessels, seeing their leader neutralized and facing the combined might of the human ship and Concordat fleet, powered down their weapons. The Leviathan hung in space, its massive form now partially transformed. Sections of hull remained open, revealing the defensive arrays that had so surprised both allies and enemies. Slowly, as the threat diminished, these systems began to retract, the ship gradually returning to its original appearance. In the main medical bay, Dr. Rex moved quickly between beds filled with injured crew members, both human and Concordat. The battle had lasted only 40 minutes, but the damage had been significant. 3 sections of the Leviathan had been breached before the Guardian Protocol activated, and several Concordat vessels had taken heavy damage protecting the colony ship. "More burn treatment here," Rex called to his medical team, kneeling beside an injured Concordat officer. The alien's blue skin was darkened with burns along one side, where an energy discharge had penetrated its ship's hull. The alien's 4 eyes blinked weakly as Rex applied a cooling gel to the burns. "Your medicine ... works on our kind?" it asked through its translator. "Basic principles are similar," Rex explained, working carefully. "Your cellular structure is different, but the response to trauma is comparable. This gel promotes healing and prevents infection in most carbon-based life forms." Nearby, a human nurse treated another Concordat officer while a Concordat medical technician assisted with a human engineer who had been injured during the hull breach. The medical bay had become a place of cooperation born from shared danger. In the command center, Jinha and Trell watched the final pirate vessel power down its systems. The Concordat fleet had surrounded the disabled ships, preventing any possibility of escape. "Your restraint was unexpected," Trell said, its 4 eyes blinking in a pattern Jinha now recognized as indicating deep thought. "The Leviathan could have destroyed them all," Jinha nodded. "It could have. But that's not why it was built, and that's not who we are. Yet your history contains much conflict," Trell observed. "Our preliminary research on human transmissions suggested your species was highly aggressive." "We were," Jinha acknowledged. "Perhaps we still are in some ways. But the final days of Earth taught us hard lessons about the cost of aggression. The Leviathan represents what we hope to become, not what we were." The ship's AI interrupted their conversation. "Captain Chief Engineer Harin requests your presence in Section 42. She has discovered something important about the Guardian Protocol." Jinha turned to Trell. "Would you like to join me? This concerns you as well, given our new alliance." The alien commander's 4 eyes blinked in agreement, and together they made their way through the Leviathan's corridors. Crew members worked to repair damage from the battle, and Jinha noted with approval that humans and Concordat personnel were working side by side at many stations. They found Harin in a section of the ship that had been sealed since launch, a large chamber filled with technology unlike anything in the Leviathan's main systems. The walls were lined with crystalline structures that pulsed with soft blue light, and at the center stood a holographic projection system currently displaying detailed schematics of the ship. "Captain," Harin greeted them, her face showing a mixture of excitement and concern. "I've accessed the core programming of the Guardian Protocol. It's remarkable." "What have you found?" Jinha asked. Harin gestured to the holographic display. The Leviathan's defensive capabilities were built in secret by a group of engineers who called themselves the Guardians of Tomorrow. They believed that humanity's Ark ships would face threats during their journey, but they didn't trust the military authorities of the time to use advanced weapons responsibly. The display changed to show the faces of 12 men and women, the secret design team that had added the hidden systems. "So they built these defenses without official approval?" Jinha asked. "Yes," Harin confirmed, "but with a crucial limitation. The systems are designed primarily for protection, not aggression. They can be used to disable or deter attackers, but their offensive capabilities are intentionally limited." Trell moved closer to the display, all 4 eyes focused on the schematics. "Remarkable engineering. These systems integrate seamlessly with the ship's life support and ecological functions." "That's the most brilliant part," Harin agreed. "The defensive systems draw power from the same sources that maintain the habitation zones. They're designed to protect life, not just the ship itself." Jinha studied the display thoughtfully. Can these systems be fully controlled now that they've been activated? Yes, Harin nodded. Now that the Guardian Protocol has initiated, I can access all systems. The ship won't transform again without direct command. As they discussed the implications of this discovery, a communication came through from the medical bay. Dr. Rex's voice sounded tired but satisfied. Captain, I thought you should know we've treated 27 Congress personnel and 14 humans. All are stable. We've also received the first wounded pirates from Warlord Kraz's flagship. Pirates? Jinna asked, surprised. You're treating the pirates as well? Of course, Rex replied simply. They're injured, and we have the means to help. Many are in critical condition. Their ships had poor radiation shielding. Jinha glanced at Trell, curious about the alien's reaction. The Concordat commander's 4 eyes blinked in a pattern Jinha hadn't seen before. You extend medical care to those who attacked you? Trell asked. Yes, Jinha confirmed. It's standard procedure for us. Once combat ends, all wounded receive treatment regardless of which side they fought on. Trell was silent for a moment, then spoke quietly. In Concordat space, pirates are typically executed when captured. They are considered outside the protection of civilized law. We have similar history, Jinha acknowledged. But the Leviathan carries what remains of humanity. We can't afford to cling to old hatreds or cycles of vengeance. Every life matters. Now, as they returned to the command center, they passed through one of the Leviathan's vast agricultural domes. Despite the battle, the environmental systems had maintained the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Trees and plants from Earth grew in carefully designed arrangements, and small animals, insects, birds, and mammals necessary for pollination. And soil health went about their activities undisturbed. Trell stopped to watch a butterfly land on a flowering plant. Your ship contains an entire world, the alien observed. What's left of our world, Jinha corrected gently. Everything you see here is extinct on Earth now. The Leviathan preserves not just human life, but the ecosystem that supported us. You would risk this precious cargo to defend others? Trell asked, referring to the Leviathan's protection of the Concordat vessels during the battle. Jinha nodded. What would be the point of saving our species if we lost what makes us human? In the process. Later, as the Concordat fleet secured the captured pirate vessels, Jinha stood in the observation deck with Trell and Harin. The view screen showed the aftermath of the battle-disabled ships being towed by Concordat vessels, repair teams working. On damaged hulls, the vast expanse of space now peaceful again. The Concordat Council will want to study your ship, Trell said. They will have many questions about human technology and capabilities. We're open to cultural and scientific exchange, Jinha replied. But the Leviathan's primary mission remains unchanged. We seek a new home for our people. Trell's 4 eyes blinked in a pattern that Jinha now recognized as indicating agreement. The Concordat controls many star systems. There may be suitable worlds where humans could settle. Harin looked up from her datapad with excitement. Really? You would help us find a new home? After today, Trell said, I believe it would benefit both our peoples. The Leviathan has shown that humans are both powerful and principled, a rare combination in our experience. As they discussed possibilities, a communication came through from the Leviathan's long-range sensors. The AIS voice carried a note of surprise. Captain, I'm detecting a signal on Earth frequencies. It appears to be from another human vessel. Jinha straightened, his eyes wide. Another Ark ship? Can you identify it? Signal analysis confirms it is the UNSC Prometheus, the second Ark ship launched from Earth. They are requesting communication. Jinha, Harin, and Trell exchanged looks of amazement. The humans were not alone in this sector of space after all. The Leviathan, once feared as a monster ship, now understood as an ark of life, had found not just alien allies, but perhaps the beginnings of a new human community among the stars. One full cycle later, the Leviathan approached the Concordat's central worlds. The massive human vessel no longer drifted alone in space but traveled as part of a small fleet. The sleek Concordat ships flanked it in formation, not as guards. but as an honor escort. Behind the Leviathan followed its sister ship, the Prometheus, reunited after decades of separate journeys through the void. On the Leviathan's observation deck, Captain Jinha stood before a gathering of both human and alien representatives. The large chamber, originally designed for viewing Earth's receding form during launch, now framed the approaching Concordat homeworld, a blue-green planet called Harmonium that would host the formal introduction of humanity to galactic society. "It's beautiful," Jinha said quietly to Haran, who stood beside him at the viewport. "It reminds me of the old pictures of Earth before the climate collapse." Haran nodded, her eyes reflecting the planet's glow. "Do you think we could really settle there, among aliens?" "Not on Harmonium itself," Jinha replied. "But Trell says there are several compatible worlds in nearby systems, places where humans could build new homes without disrupting existing ecosystems." Behind them, Communications Officer Jack Morrison was engaged in animated conversation with a group of Concordat diplomats. Over the past cycle, Morrison had proven remarkably skilled at building bridges between human and alien cultures. His linguistic abilities had helped create a more comprehensive translation system, allowing for deeper understanding between the species. "The cultural exchange protocols are working better than expected," Morrison reported, joining Jinha and Haran at the viewport. 17 Concordat species have already requested permission to establish diplomatic missions with humanity. 17? Haran asked, surprised. "I thought the Concordat only had 12 member species," Morrison smiled. "Word has spread beyond." "The Concordat? The story of the Leviathan has traveled faster than we have." Jinha raised an eyebrow. "What story exactly?" "Different versions circulate," Morrison explained. "Some call us the monster ship that became a savior. Others speak of the humans who fought with honor. A pirate attack and our response made quite an impression." The observation deck doors slid open and High Commander Trell entered, accompanied by Captain Quan and several Concordat officials. The alien commander's 4 eyes blinked in the pattern that humans now recognized as indicating pleasure. "Captain Jinha," Trell greeted. "The Concordat High Council has approved your approach to Harmonium. They await your arrival with great interest." Jinha bowed slightly in the formal Concordat manner he had learned. "We are honored by their welcome." Trell's 4 eyes focused on the approaching planet. "Your journey has become legend throughout our space. The monster ship that turned out to be an Ark, carrying not weapons but hope." Quan smiled at this description. "From terror to legend in one cycle, not bad for refugees." "More than refugees." "Now," Trell corrected, "potential allies." "The Concordat High Council has reviewed the data from our encounters. They are particularly interested in human adaptability and problem-solving approaches." Haran looked curious. "What specifically impressed?" "Them? Everything," Trell replied, all 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "Your repurposing of agricultural systems for defense. Your medical treatment of enemies. The Leviathan itself built as your world died around you. Most species would have surrendered to extinction. Humans built a way forward instead." "The ships." AI interrupted their conversation. "Captain, we are receiving the formal approach protocol from Harmonium Control. We will enter standard orbit in 47 minutes. Jinha nodded. "Thank you. Please begin preparation for the diplomatic shuttle." Launch. As the group dispersed to prepare for arrival, Jinha took a moment alone at the viewport. The journey had been far different than anyone had expected when the Leviathan launched from a dying Earth. The ship had been designed to travel for centuries if necessary, searching for a habitable world where humanity could start again. Instead, they had found a galaxy already filled with life and civilization, and their place within it in the ship's central garden dome. Dr. Rex walked with Captain SCO of the Prometheus. The 2 ship leaders had been meeting regularly since the vessels reunited, sharing their separate journeys and planning for humanity's future. "Your medical exchange program is fascinating," ACO commented, watching as human and Concordat medical personnel worked together with plants in the botanical research section. "I never imagined we'd be learning alien healing techniques." Rex nodded. Their biological understanding is different from ours, but complementary. They've already helped us improve the cryostasis systems. We've reduced cellular degradation by 17%, which means safer, longer sleep for our passengers, CO said thoughtfully, until we find the right world to call home. They paused beside a small pond where earth fish swam lazily in the carefully maintained water. Above them, the massive transparent dome showed the stars and the approaching planet. "Do you think we'll ever truly belong out here?" CO asked quietly. "Among so many different species?" Rex considered the question. "I think we already do. Not because we're the same as them, but because we're different. The Concordat scientists I've worked with keep saying the same thing humanity approaches. Problems unlike any species they've encountered. Is that good or bad?" SEO wondered. "Both, probably," Rex smiled. "But it makes us valuable." The Leviathan was called a monster ship because of its size and strange design. Now they see it as a wonder, a testament to human determination. As the Leviathan entered orbit around Harmonium, preparations for the formal diplomatic reception continued. Jinha, dressed in a ceremonial uniform created for this historic occasion, met with his senior staff one last time before departure. "This is a moment that will define humanity's place in the galaxy," he told them. "When we left Earth, we thought we might be the last of our kind, searching for a place to start again. Instead, we found a community of worlds and species beyond anything we imagined." Quan, standing at attention beside the other officers, nodded. "And they found us. The monster ship that frightened an entire fleet." Jinha smiled at the memory. Fear turned to understanding. "That's a good foundation for what comes next." The diplomatic shuttle departed the Leviathan with Jinha, Harin, and representatives from both human vessels aboard. As they descended toward the Concordat capital city, Harin gazed out at the planet's surface. "It's strange," she said. "When the Leviathan was built, we thought our greatest achievement would be preserving human life. Now it seems our greatest contribution might be what we can offer to other species?" Jinha nodded. "The Concordat has technology we lack, but we have perspectives they've never considered. Together we might solve problems neither could address alone." The shuttle landed on a massive platform in the center of the alien capital. Thousands of beings from dozens of species had gathered to witness humanity's formal introduction to galactic society. At the center of the platform stood the Concordat High Council, 12 representatives of the founding species. Their diverse forms a testament to the variety of life in the galaxy. As Jinha stepped from the shuttle, a hush fell over the crowd. The human captain representative of a species that had arrived in a ship once feared as a terror walked forward with quiet dignity. Behind him came the other human representatives, their faces showing the weight of the moment. The head counselor, a tall being with crystalline features, stepped forward. "Captain Jinha of Earth, we welcome humanity to the community of worlds. Your journey has been remarkable, your ship legendary. What began in misunderstanding has led to new possibilities. For all our peoples." Jinha bowed deeply. "On behalf of humanity, I thank you for this welcome. The Leviathan was built to save our species from extinction. We never imagined it would instead introduce us to a galaxy of new friends and allies." As the formal ceremonies began, the Leviathan and Prometheus remained in orbit above massive monuments to human determination and hope. The ships that had carried humanity's future across the void now represented something more, a bridge between Earth's legacy and humanity's new place among the stars. The monster ship that had terrified the Concordat at first sight had become a symbol of possibility, proof that even at the edge of extinction, life could find a way forward. Not through conquest or domination, but through the uniquely human blend of adaptation, cooperation, and unwavering determination to survive against impossible odds.